All right.
There we go. Can you see the screen?
I can, yes.
Okay. So that is a basic concept of what Plugin Studio looks like.
So just like initial thoughts right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I know everybody is big on dark, now, like
Yep.
dark mode or whatever. And I don't want this to be one of these things where like it's something that I don't like, but everybody else does. We do it because I like it, because we're not building for me.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. There
But
will be two themes.
well,
Okay.
no, what
Yep.
I'm just gonna say though is for me personally,
Yep.
I much prefer the white.
Yes, yeah, I know that from our previous conversation. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, when I did this, I just didn't fight it. It was like you're going to be in light mode for the moment. This is only really quick. I want to throw code
Yeah, but
together.
I like it. I mean, I just like the white. To me, it's just I don't know. And I guess Perplexity's black, but ChatGPT's white, Claude's white. This is sounding racist now, but not.
But I get it. It's
I
like
guess it
depending
is
on
a
what.
little. It is. If we're defining race as color, I guess it is racist. But anyway. All right. So what else here? So
Okay, so
right out of the gate. Let me just give you my
yep,
initial. I know this is just
yep. There you go. Yep, exactly. Go ahead.
but I would say I don't know what I'm looking at
Yeah,
here.
yep. And
So
there's
that
no
would be number
instructions
one.
yet at all.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I
Yep.
do think it's nice just for the future not to have instructions, right?
Yes. But
So,
we are dealing with a design tool. So with that in mind, there's like you only can handhold so much and whatnot with design tools, but we will put that once we get it working, or I shouldn't say working, once we get it to, I guess, a more polished state, then we can sit there and go, where can we do things differently to so that if you didn't know anything about design tools, you go, aha.
well, and this is where I also think because we have a chat box on the page,
Yep.
why not just start it out with, "Hi, welcome to BrainDrive Plugin Studio."
True, true. I could make the
Uh,
first page a little more interactive.
yeah, and it's just like, "Hi, welcome to BrainDrive Plugin Studio. I'm your plugin development assistant. What are you interested in doing today?" You know?
Yep. No, no, exactly.
Yep.
Um, now,
And I don't know why more of these tools don't do that.
yeah,
It's like all of them, it's like you're walking up to a person and you have no idea. Like you could say anything to that person, which when would you ever do that? You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like you come wanting to talk about something.
yep,
So anyway, cool. All right, now let me also just on a branding thing, and again, I know that all this is, but
yeah,
I do think and this is one of the things I want to talk to you about today too, but
yep.
I do think we should just call it BrainDrive.
Okay. We,
And then LLM input component for LLM interactions, LLM display component for LLM interactions. Okay, select dropdown, a dropdown component that allows items. Type your message here. These are messages, the CXV XYZ thing.
yep. Oh no, no. Okay, like the chat. Okay, the chat bot display. Like, watch, follow me. If I just type in a message right here.
Yeah.
All plugins already are working
Okay,
when you're
awesome.
doing design, so you get to see what the user would see.
Okay, now in the upper right hand corner,
Yep.
LLM combined test. What is that?
These are just test pages that I'm putting in place so that I can see certain things and play. So I'll go through because this will screw this up, but it's okay. If I do the selection test, it'll load up a whole new page, and this is just a selection page.
So that's the page drop down up
Yep.
there. Okay.
So if you were working on multiple pages, or if you had like 100 pages, you would see a drop down with 100 pages that you could start working on.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I go back here, it goes to this one.
Okay. And then what is the mobile vertical horizontal? Oh,
This
so
is
you
start.
can see you can preview it on mobile.
Yep, that's what I'm doing now is
That's
previewing.
cool.
I have to do.
That is cool.
I have to do some quirks that I've noticed in my testing, but that's the concept right there. So you'll be able to test out responsiveness without changing devices, without doing anything like that. It's just a matter of press the button, let's see what it looks like.
Super cool. And then what's that? A desktop? Yep, makes sense. The
Yep.
view page in JSON, fine.
JSON is this is
love it that you have the like clearly stated what it is when you run your mouse over it.
Yep.
Okay, and
this is for, let's say I have this highlighted, right? Okay, it gives me the configuration options. This, of course, we'll need a tutorial and stuff like that, or a little question marks for people to hover over. But this is, as you can see, starts matching. You actually have control over certain aspects of the plugin.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. And then I'll go here because I'll show you where this comes into play a different way. This is where I'm actually connecting two plugins together so they know to talk to each other. So I have display one, right? And if I come to this one and I plug in, this ID is display one. So they're actually know they communicate with each other.
Okay, say that. I understand what plugins communicating with each other means, but
yep.
What is it? What is what you just showed me?
Okay, because let's say, okay, we release this page right here for whatever reason, and Billy comes along next week. He does his own plugin. It displays this centerpiece right here, except for he has each text in different color. That's what he wants to do. So he did that. So all he would have to do is change this plugin here to be his, come to this plugin, and put and that's the ID. Right here, there you go. The target display ID. Change that to whatever his ID is, and it will automatically start working with the new display. And the silence tells me you didn't get it, so let me start over.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, each plugin.
My mind's also all over the place a little bit this morning, so keep that in mind.
Yep, no problem.
I don't. You know, I had like a glass of wine last night, so it's not that. But you know what I've noticed is food gives me the hang. You know what I mean? Now, like I eat wrong. It's like, oh God, like getting old.
Yep, your next day's like shit.
Yeah. But on the other hand, like it gives a good gun to the head reason to eat well.
Yes, definitely. Because you pay the price.
Start over, but not. I don't think you're doing a bad job explaining it. I think my mind's just a little.
Well, and it's also a whole different concept.
Yeah, I wasn't in like demo mode when we jumped on the call, but I'm glad you have. I'm always happy to look at software progress.
Okay, every plugin has an ID. Okay, and the IDs are important for two reasons. One, it allows every plugin to be different, and if you have a plugin that has to communicate with another plugin, it needs to know the ID so it can send the message correctly, just like a house address.
Okay, so let's stop right here for a second. So this is the what you're showing me here is basically where my head needs to be at. Is this is a window that allows you to determine what plugin displays on this page.
Okay, actually, no. What this configure plugin?
Yeah.
This is this plugin right here.
Yeah.
You go. This is the options that plugin allows.
Okay, I got that. That makes sense.
Okay, and each different type of plugin will have different options based on what it's designed to do. Such as like this plugin does nothing more than displays information. It has a max height. Does it show the timestamps?
Okay, so let me say this, but I think I'm getting it now.
Yep.
So basically, each plugin will have, depending on what the function of the plugin is, some settings that the user can modify to change the look and feel and maybe even the function of the plugin, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And that's the primary purpose of this window that I'm looking at right now.
Yep. And here will be a working example. I come to the model dropdown that I have here. I come here and just say for whatever reason, I want this to be AI. So I change that and automatically it changed models to AI.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And just like if let's say this list right here, somebody comes up with a new model or for whatever reason, I want to add, let's do Gemini. Boom. Automatically Gemini's there.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now in a working version of this, I will have the option for you to do an API call so you can get the model list from our backend. But for testing purposes right now, I'm working on this dropdown works the way I expect it to.
Okay, and so I got all that.
Okay.
That makes complete
Now,
sense.
some models need to communicate, or some plugins need to be able to communicate with other plugins.
Yep.
To do their job on a page.
And this is what we talked about in terms of like having a page where like step 1 is this plugin and step 2 is this plugin.
Yep. So I come to this one. Now, this plugin's sole job is for me to put information in, and when it's there, I can send it to be displayed. Now, in a real working environment, this would go to the back end. It would prompt the LLM, and then that would be returned to the actual display plugin. But for test purposes, we're just doing level 1. Let's make sure that the communication between plugins works perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that does. Now, in order to facilitate that happen, all you have to know is the plugin you're communicating with, which is this one. And then you go over here, and hopefully I would like to have this automated. I'm out. Nope, I didn't do that. Boop. There you go. And I put the target display ID. So the prompt plugin knows to communicate and send messages directly to the display plugin.
Okay, this is where I'm getting a little confused. So I got that. Let's say that, would an example be that I can think about this in my head? Yeah, give me an example. Like,
okay, here's an example. Let's go with mail, just because a message is nothing more, a communication is nothing more than mail.
Okay.
In order for me to send mail to even my next door neighbor through the post office, I need to know my neighbor's address. Okay, so right here, display 1, that is nothing more than an address.
Okay.
It's in text so that people can, and you can name them whatever you want, but the text version of right there says, hey, that's the address of the plugin that I'm going to send my message to.
Okay, so for messaging purposes, let me see if I can extend this analogy. One target display would be an LLM.
Yep.
And I want to send this to Gemini, or I want to send this to Olama models, or whatever. But it could also be like, I want to send this message to another plugin, right? That's not an LLM, or that maybe has a bunch of functions that kick off, right?
Correct. Yes.
It's a plugin that I'm sending this message to, and that plugin may send it to
somewhere else,
an LLM for AI integration. But, okay, I send this message, here's a social media post that I want to post on LinkedIn, right?
Yep.
And that target in this case may be a LinkedIn posting plugin that someone has developed, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And it goes to the LinkedIn post plugin, and then that plugin has 6 steps. And that plugin may even just be like formatting and maybe coming back with some tips for improving the hook or whatever in the post and blah, blah, blah. And then once the user says, great, it sends it back to the LinkedIn, post formatter plugin. And that plugin may have a different target, which is the actual API of LinkedIn to do the post. And that's the target.
And that's the beauty of this is you can get as crazy as you want with this system now. Just like you described to me as you wanted to do steps for content creation and stuff like that, we're getting to that point where you can now do that.
That's awesome. I love it. I don't know that target display ID. I think we might need to come up with a better. We're going to need to come up with a vocabulary for this. But I understand that that's not the priority right now.
Yeah, the priority was just functionality testing.
Yeah, which is the most important part.
If it doesn't function, what's the point in the rest of this shit?
Yeah, 100%. So this is great. I get it.
Now here's the thing: is like this text right here.
Let me see it. Let me say it.
Okay.
Let me see if I know what this is. Okay. So what you just showed me is the dummy version, right?
Yep.
if you're a developer, like have at it.
Yep.
You're not limited to the number of fields that are in that page.
Correct. And you could just skip the entire mouse clicks and stuff like that, and you can go da, 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 done.
And also, like when we have, BrainDrive
There you
plugin
go.
video bot, it talks to this.
Yeah, because hold on. This is text. All the
Right.
AI has to know is our formatting, and this is JSON.
Right.
Then our vocabulary, then, because this is what X, Y, and Z and X, Y, W, and H stand for. This is what an ID is. Also, it has to know those rules, and it can start designing pages for you.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome.
That's what I start Monday off with.
Got a lot done this weekend besides moving your computer.
Yeah, it was like this was Saturday.
I love it.
Because it was like, so I woke up Sunday and I was like, okay, as much as I want to code, I have to get this done.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Love it.
So,
Awesome.
now one food to think about, and we don't need an answer yet because I'm not there. Do we want this inside BrainDrive, or do we want this as a separate component that you can, like pipelines was for Tim? And I say
I think
this,
it depends on the latency, the lag that it's going to add
yeah,
to the download.
yeah, because that's the unknown, not like that. But it was more of a, of course, the more you add to a core application, the more problems that can arise from it. Because hey, just like let's say there's there's an issue in the plugin studio, and all of a sudden it could cascade into the other stuff by accident and stuff like that. So it's like the less you have going on in your core app, of course, the better you are. But that was just, like I said, it's just food for thought.
I do love having this, especially for our initial core audience,
Yep.
like this is who we're building for.
Exactly. We could. I was thinking about that too. That's why I was like, this is food for thought, because I know there's a tough bunch of if,
It might
ands,
be
and
like
buts.
a BrainDrive heavy and a BrainDrive light or something.
Yeah. True. I mean, because the reason I'm going this way is because if I can have the plugin work in a developer mode, getting it to work in a user mode is 10 times easier. So I worked backwards on this. And that being said, I figured out a new way to use AI for development.
Say that one more time. Why is it easier? What is developer mode and why is it easier?
Well, because I have to be able to, in a developer mode, you see all the fancy stuff that I have to do with a plugin?
Yeah.
Okay, it has to be able to do more for a developer, because all the developer has to do is give it this little JSON.
I see.
And it just handles everything for you. You don't worry about that. But in developer mode, it has to be able to go in and out of that data all the time and give you the options.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would say a Nirvana scenario is having it all in one, but I think it would be totally fine to start it with. There's like a page for it, and you click on it, and it's like you need to download this and to add it to your thing, and here's what it does.
Yep, true. I didn't think about it in that regard. This could become like a massive plugin.
Yeah.
But it's just food for thought right now.
Like it would be separate, like it would be a separate application.
Yes, completely. Like right now, this application as it's being developed is completely separate of BrainDrive. And I did that just so the AI wouldn't get confused for code.
How do I, let's say that I have a plugin developed, the color generator, random color pick. Can I get on my phone now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right, I want to go for my walk. So.
Yep.
Let me just give me a second.
Yep.
Recording in progress.
All right, you can hear me?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, so you were saying how does it go from I've got a plugin, how does it go from that to
BrainDrive?
Yeah.
Well, okay, you have two layers of this. The first layer, of course, is the plugin themselves. Now, right now, I am dealing with plugins that are on both systems. So all I have to do is give it the page JSON, and it takes care of the rest for me. They both know about each system. And then when we get to plugins, actually, you would have to be able to compile your plugin, which will have a little button to hopefully take care of and such like that. And then you would load it into the system, and then you would be as if both systems know the plugin.
Once the plugin's in BrainDrive,
All you
can
need
I-
is a JSON.
huh?
All you need is a JSON then.
Can I edit the settings?
Okay, that I haven't quite got there yet. You could. It just depends on how the ground rules that we want to state when we get that far. Because I'm thinking that we would want some rules based on the page designer that they go, okay, these are only for me to set. And then they'll do some options that will say, okay, users can set these.
Is there a middle ground where, like, you know, if you're doing a ton of plugin stuff, like, you're going to want to download and just run the BrainDrive Developer Studio as a separate thing, but if you're just like Joe Schmo, there's some elements of BrainDrive Studio that are within the application?
Yeah, we can get there. Because that's why I said this is just food for thought right now.
Well, the other thing that it opens up that we have to think about too is, you know, it could be actually a good thing to give other people the opportunity to build a developer studio themselves.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. If they want to take our code and improve upon and fork it and improve upon it, go right
Well,
ahead.
yeah, and especially if they're developing plugins for core BrainDrive.
Yep. Because all they're worried about at that point, they improve the development tools, but that doesn't mean they have to alter the core, because the development tools just worries about plugins at the end of the day.
So yeah, so I would say Nirvana is having this integrated into BrainDrive.
It's right now there's nothing stopping it from happening. It is slight. Both systems utilize probably 50% of the same components. There's right now, this is pure. If we were to combine them, there's really not much of an issue there.
Okay.
It was more
What's
of
the reason not to combine them then?
Just the main reason would be that the less you have going on in your application that needs to be there, the better off you are. That's it. It's a principle. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be there.
Can it be does making it an add-on like I'm talking about, where it's easy just to download it as a separate thing?
That could happen. Let me go through, because I don't know. I want to say yes, because at the end of the day, this is nothing more than a plugin system. So my default is yes, that could happen. I just don't know how to do it right now. If that's being honest.
So,
because at the end of the day, the way this is designed up, in theory, I should be able to package this up as a plugin, and with a little bit of code on the other side of the BrainDrive side, it should load it and run. It should be that simple.
right, and then it solves the problem that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. It gives you both worlds. It gives you the first install is the core, and that will handle our end-to-end user, or our owners. And then our builders would be able to go, hey, I want the plugin so that I can start developing myself.
And if we wanted to include the plugin with a download,
yep,
that would be easy to do, and it wouldn't introduce the dependency concern, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What I would say, my initial reaction, and it sounds like we both need to think about it a little bit, but my initial reaction is, this is so cool, you know, and that the people that get it and want to use it are not going to have a problem like using a separate thing.
Well, and my thing is, like, I know my coding principle is the fact of you don't add it because of the fact that it just adds a layer of complexity. However,
no, I don't think it should be like part of BrainDrive core. Like, I think BrainDrive core is for owners.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, and then there's that part of me that's like, but the second somebody sees how easy this could be to create your own page, they'd be like, they're like, why wasn't this offered from the word go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you tell them what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And if I can
know?
do this as a plugin, which I really didn't consider yesterday when I was mulling this over in my head, it was like, that would be the best of both worlds. You download the plugin, you install it, and you go. And that would be the perfect example to show people just how far you could push this system.